Hi guys, welcome back to Yells at Books. I'm Books Fair, this is Books Queer, and this is Books You Can Hear. We've trying to decide if we should rebrand as the Book Powerpuff Girls, so let us know what you think of Fair Puff, Queer Puff, and
the eldritch horror puff you can hear.
Books You Can Puff. That sounds kind of sinister. And on the note of sinister predictions for the future. Sorry.
Welcome back to our book club books.
Yay!
Rhiannon, what the hell were those books?
So those books this month were Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I'm not going to try and say that author's name. I'm really sorry. Vigil by George Saunders, and a classic Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Is that how you
Aldous
say it?
Huxley.
Sure. This was my pick. I think I probably liked it more than these guys did. I think I gave it a 4. It was very hard, like definitely a difficult book to physically read because it's almost told like a Shakespearean soliloquy, and it really reads like a play. I think if this book was ever turned into another medium, it would have to be a play because it's very just you're getting a lot of monologuing, but I enjoyed it. But then I don't know, it felt like it was building up to a bigger point than it ended up following through with, and I found that a little disappointing. But it did have very good commentary on like the left and the right and environmental issues, and also but also like the hypocrisy of our environmental issues and how like, oh, we need to save the turtles, I'm still going to drive to work today, you know. But yeah, it kind of just fell flat in the end, which was disappointing, but it was by no means a bad read. What did you guys think?
Well, it was beautifully written, and I think it was really helpful that I listened to the audio because it's a full cast audio, and the cast is extremely talented. Like these were some fucking voice actors, man. So it was really pleasant to listen to. But once I got past how gorgeous that French man's voice was, the book has a lot to say about a question that nobody wanted an answer to or even asked. So I think George was the only person that asked this question, and nobody else thought of it. So well done for a completely unique book and fantastic writing skills. I feel like you wasted them on this book. It was hard to follow, and once I was able to follow, it felt almost pointless. Pointless from a certain point of view.
This author is a Booker Prize winner. His other book won the Booker Prize one year.
It does not shock me at all.
Maybe we should read that. It's called Lincoln in the Bardo.
You know, this one was probably a labor of love for him, I imagine. Just by the wording he uses and stuff like that. I really enjoyed the way that he writes. It's just once again what he was writing about. It just didn't hit at all, and just felt like, why did I bother listening to that? Although there is a point to listening to it, obviously, because gorgeous voice acting. What do you reckon, Jamie?
I also listened to the audiobook, which definitely did help, because there were points where, because it's a spirit book, there's lots of spirits, and having the different voice actors really did help. I feel like if I was physically reading it, it would have been a bit even more confusing than it was. I think that's what let it down for me. I was just kind of lost a lot of the time, and when I wasn't, I was like, wait, what? But it was good. It was a bit unremarkable, unfortunately. But yeah, the writing style was incredible. It was good. But I finished it and was like, kind of forgot everything that had happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it really slipped my mind pretty much immediately, eh?
Yeah.
I just really think it should be a play. That's the only thought that's really stayed with me, was the whole time I was reading it, I was like, this is a play. This is a play, bro. This is the perfect play as well.
Yeah.
Because like plays like to make their big point not at the end, and then they always go out with a lot of good plays go out with a whimper, like A Streetcar Named Desire. It's a prime example of all the important stuff happening not at the end.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. I feel like this is a play. I think that's why he wrote it.
Yeah.
I think maybe the medium's wrong, right? Like, shouldn't have been a book, or rather, it should be a play, or that's how we should have consumed it.
I guess having a full audio cast is as close as you could get to being a play currently. Well, I really hope they make it into a play. We're putting it out into the universe. I'm manifesting it. Hopefully they make it into a play. I'm gonna go fuck that play up.
Like,
Yeah.
I understand like why it was so confusing, because they are spirits and they are like going through each other and having memories of that person's life. Like, but it just was a bit much for me. Like, can you simple it down, please? Can they just be having a conversation?
100%.
Oh, and there was two characters I hated. Was it like Rob R and Rob G? Was that their names?
I hated that.
I
Especially when it
hated
was
them
like
so much.
4 pages of just them. It's just like got to
Yeah.
the point where I wasn't even reading like said. Literally just not even reading said R, said G, said R, said G. I'm just reading like what's in the speech marks and bypassing the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
imagine
just
you would have
weird.
gotten through it far quicker than Jamie and I, because he
Yeah.
read, he read it. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I wish I could like skip this part. Said Rob G, said Rob R, said Rob G, said Rob R. I'm like, this is too much. And then there was like more of them, and I was like, how is there more of them? Anyway.
Or it's like you just made me realize as well when we were reading the things have gotten worse when we last spoke. Finn, you must have had to go 10, 07, 66, Marigold 63, open dash, Marigold 63, close dash, ellipse, black, 10, 7, 10, 17, 23, open dash. Oh, yuck, fuck that.
Actually, now that we're bringing up stupid audio things that could have just been skipped, the guy that did Jurassic Park, I read his book Sphere recently, and the computer like spits out numbers because something's trying to contact them, and it's contacting them in numbers. I think using like a Caesar cipher or something. But anyway, the audiobook, which was awesome because every so often it says flip the tape over to side B. I love that. That's so retro. It read out all the numbers, so it's like 1100493349 for like 10 minutes. Man, I was sitting there listening to it for like 2 minutes. I'm like, does this ever end? Like, start skipping minute by minute, and it doesn't end. He reads out every single fucking number. That's crazy work. Why bother? Like, who the hell is going to be listening to this and being like, yeah, I've definitely cracked this code. I can imagine, like, if you're reading it, you might get into it and like write it down and stuff. But like, I'm listening to it. I'm doing something else.
I'm busy.
Yeah, just a quick little rant there about that. But Vigil, I will be happy to read anything else by George Saunders, because he hasn't lost me completely, because I understand that this is a fantastic author and this was so well written. So I gave it a 2 for that reason. It's the very well written book that I didn't like.
I think I gave it a 3.
He is currently recording on a 1995 calculator. All right, so next we have the only positive book this month. Thank you, Jamie.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to give a cozy, would you call it sci-fi? I guess it is.
I think time travel is sci-fi. I think that's what we categorize that as. Or why don't we just, it's always historical fiction, right? Almost always. No, not for this one. It's too cozy.
Not for this one. Yeah. We'll just call it a cozy sci-fi.
Hang on, your
Before
potato.
the coffee gets
Stop.
I'm potato.
Yeah, the fucking 90s calculator has been battened past. And I think Rhiannon froze. Away with you.
Before the coffee gets cold. This is a cozy sci-fi where this small coffee shop in Tokyo that's hidden down a little alleyway is a place where people can go and go back to the past. But it's maybe not so popular because of all the rules. You have to sit in the one seat. You can only go back to visit people that have visited the cafe. You have to remember the time and place where you want to go back. And lastly, you have to drink the coffee before it gets cold.
He said the thing, roll credits.
So yeah, this is a very cozy, nice little read. a little sad at parts, but it was really enjoyable.
This one's actually highly recommended to read right after you read a Borked book. Go see my other videos. Because even like Jamie said, it is a little bit sad, but it's not overwhelmingly sad. It's just like, oh, that kitten tripped over, that kind of sad. And you know what? That's not this book is a kitten, and it's adorable and fun for a little bit, and I don't know,
It's such a kitten.
it is such a kitten. It's very gentle. If you're reading it wrong, Rhiannon read it wrong because she read it first and she warned us, and she said it felt more sinister than it turned out to be. So this book could have gone in any direction.
I read Strange Pictures by Yuketsu. Go see our video about Strange Houses. Strange Pictures is quite different to Strange Houses in that it follows like 4 stories that are kind of tangled together, and that's exactly what this book does as well. And that's literally where the similarities end. But as soon as there was like a link between the first story and the second story, I was like, ew. Someone's kid's gonna get murdered.
Also, don't forget the strong link that it's another Japanese book and it reads like a Japanese book. And if you know, you know. Japanese books have a certain read, certain feeling.
I definitely thought it was going to be 4 like very separate kind of stories, and I really enjoyed that they were interconnected and the characters, all the same characters, were kind of all through each 4.
Yeah,
it's very pleasant.
I thought the way that it dealt with like all the different kinds of relationships, like friendships, romance, parent and child, husband and wife, like I thought it was really profound in the way that it dealt with relationships. And I can't remember what it was now, but it was like in the last quarter, it was like a solid 3 throughout, and then there was like this one page towards the end that I was like, this can't be any less than a 4 now. But I can't remember what it was, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it.
Yeah, there's not really too much to say about this one. This one was just pleasant. I believe I gave it a 4. I really enjoy time travel, and this was quite a unique time travel concept. A little bit annoying and quite restrictive. I understand why people started to hate the cafe, but this was just excellent to read. So why don't you go read Exquisite Corpse and then this?
It was a good little methadone for one of my new favorite books that I read this year, called The White Octopus Hotel by Alexandra Bell, which is also a time travel. And this was a nice little methadone balm for my withdrawal from that book that I'm still experiencing.
But yeah, I definitely did really enjoy the characters. The characters were all very enjoyable and very Japanese, if that makes sense. Like, it's interesting to see how like reserved a lot of their characters are, but charming.
And I thought it was very good. Like, they had good characterization for such a small book, and also like I feel like Japanese writing is normally like very to the point, but it wasn't like flat by any means.
And this is a series. You don't actually need to read the next book. But I'm at least glad because I got them all. So next time I'm scarred by something like Exquisite Corpse, I've got something to fall back on afterwards.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna just keep it as like it's gonna be good and cozy and nice. So I don't think I'm gonna be rushing to go read the rest of the series, but it's nice to fall back on, like having a sure book that's gonna be good, which is always nice.
Definitely, it's just a lovely little palate cleanser.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's like a palate cleanser.
Fucking spoiler alert.
Spoilers. If you want to read, stop here.
Exactly.
Oh, I need to talk about the old man who has dementia.
Oh my god.
He's like, I've lost my wife. I don't know where she's gone. And then you find out that she visits the cafe every day and he doesn't recognize her. I cried. I was like, oh my god.
That was pretty upsetting.
Yeah, but it was so good. I wasn't expecting her to be the one to go back in time on that little story, but when it did, it made sense. And I was like, and then he immediately knew why she was there. Oh, it's like, I've forgotten, haven't I?
Yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah. And just that she started like, oh, him saying, be my carer, but only if you're my wife first. That really hit.
Yeah, there
If you
were
can't
actually.
if you can't stay my wife, then don't be my carer. And I was like, oh. And she wasn't
Yeah.
using his last name. She was just going as his carer. And how she's his wife to the end.
Beautiful.
End of spoiler.
Discuss Brave New World.
Yay, my
Henley, that's
pick.
your choice.
So, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I chose this one because I love 1984. And this one constantly comes up in the conversation when people talk about 1984. And after having finally read Brave New World, the only question I have is, why would you put it in the same conversation as 1984? I understand that it's the first of its kind, and it's like this, and it's similar to 1984 in the way that heads and tails is the same thing on a fucking coin. I understand that, but one of these two things is clearly far superior to the other, and it is a little bit disgraceful to 1984, which is a fucking masterpiece, to put it next to this book. Not a horrible book, don't get me wrong, but it's like putting your house, which you love, next to the Burj Khalifa. Just why? Why would you do that? Anyway, that's my opening thoughts. What about you, Rhiannon?
I think I probably enjoyed this a little bit more than Finn did, but also just to keep talking about 1984, we're meant to be talking about a different book. I read this and then immediately read 1984 afterwards because I hadn't read either of them, and I was like, this needs to change. So when I read it, I'd say I enjoyed it, and then having read 1984, it kind of lost its spark a bit because, again, as Finn said, 1984 is far superior. But I think I get a little bit of a cheat code with this book because a lot of it is about like a big part of like Huxley's dystopia is about like sex development and how hormones fuck with that. And I do actually know a bit about that because, believe it or not, I have a university degree and I did some of that stuff in my classes. So I think understanding like the real science behind that gave this kind of a sinister edge that I don't think you would have if you didn't realize that he wasn't just talking out of his ass about like that. You can genuinely do that. And I think it's powerful because so much of it reflects our current reality, and there's no way that he was ever going to know that. But it does shoot itself in the foot in the same way that 1984 does, in which it's so dated. It's so painfully dated in the way it portrays women, people of minority, people with disabilities, anything like that. And it shoots it like, not only is it like hard to read as a modern person because you're like, bro, you can't say that, like, ew, gross, but also like he nulls his own point because it's like your dystopia would be far more sinister if like it was such a yeah, I just think that its portrayal of a dystopia would be far more sinister if everyone was having such a shit time. Because when you portray women as being so, well, I mean, I read this book and every time he says that one word, I'm like, okay, so fat. Portraying women as being fat airheads and minorities as being like savages, it's like, oh, so only white men are having a bad time in your society? Darn, that sure does sound like a terrible place. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it's very hit or miss, I guess,
Yeah.
for me. But I think I
No,
gave it a
this
3.5, but I rounded up to 4 because I feel like 3 was a bit mean for a iconic
For a
classic.
classic. Well, the thing is this one really reads like I genuinely believe that Aldous Huxley started writing his fantasy and then realized, because he's an intelligent person, halfway through he realized this isn't really a fantasy, this is a fucking dystopia, because like they have
Yeah, this
sex
is a
all the
nightmare.
time, all of the races are divided, women are underneath men, drugs, hell yeah. Aldous Huxley was a known drug user, so I believe that's how this started, and it's easy to see why this was so divisive, especially because it was the first of its kind.
Mm.
Yeah, I just and also when Rhiannon explained to me what we were missing out on because we're poorly educated, thanks for that, Rhiannon. I got kind of even more annoyed because it's like it's similar to the three body problem where I'm like, wow, I missed out on a whole book that I read. So like it's wow, what a waste of my energy. I'm fucking arm wrestling with my foot here. But I think I gave it a 3 because I didn't hate this. I just hate people that compare it to 1984. I see why you do that, but I'd like you to stop because
Yeah.
it's not okay. It's not okay.
I think like I guess the messages are comparable, but just as raw books, not comparable at all. It's like comparing Banksy to the Mona Lisa. It's just not as well written or thought out.
100%. Oh, Jamie, you've been quiet. Did
Oh.
you? What did you think about this one? It seems like
Yeah,
the
what
kind
did
of
you
book that
think,
you'd
Jamie?
like. Hang on, let me just chant you in. Orgy, porgy, orgy, porgy.
Okay,
Orgy.
give me a second. Oh, I'll sit up for those 2 seconds. Fucking hated this book so much. Every single second of this was like torture for me. Okay. Now, I loved DNF books. And if I hadn't just DNF'd one book in the previous month, I would have DNF'd this so hard at like page 20 because I immediately hated it. But I sat through it. You guys said it got better. It didn't. So I continued even through the orgy, 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 orgy. And then, so John was the only glimmer of saving grace. He was a savage.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
The only saving grace that went nowhere. Every like speck of like glimmer of, oh, this could be okay was diminished for me. How am I going to put into words what I didn't like? It was like a straight white man's ideal future for the world is having lots of drugs and lots of sex. And I just hated it. I hated all of the characters except for John, every single one of them. Bernard was the absolute worst wet blanket in the world. He was just a soggy mess. Hated him. Oh, like at first he's all like, "Oh, isn't there more than this?" And then as soon as he gets a glimmer of the flame, he's like, "This is the way it should be. This is the way it has to be." Like, oh my god. What else? What else did I not like about this book? It's just not for me. It's just really not for me. Oh, and another one, it begs the question, just because it starts the author started a genre, does it automatically make it good? No.
100% actually, and you bring up a good point because the book that you DNF'd last month was Aragorn, which I believe started a genre, and it was perfected by Ascendant.
And because I feel like, because this book, Brave New World, is highly acclaimed. Like, I've seen it multiple times on Book Talk and people talking about it, saying they loved it. And it's just not good. But I feel like they're just going in thinking, oh, they started this genre. He didn't know he was going to start a genre. It's to the other people that took that dog heap and made it good. You know?
Yay,
Similar,
George Orwell.
similar to how I feel about H.P. Lovecraft. I don't love his books, but I love everything that came afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, Rhiannon said something before about how, or maybe you said it. Who said about how it should be dystopian for everybody, not just women? That's
Just men.
or just men, whatever you said. But that made me think of the Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood in the way that it's portrayed as being a horrible place for women to live in this dystopian future. But when you look at it just a little bit closer, it's horrible for everybody. And I think that's why Handmaid's Tale was so genius. So
I mean, Handmaid's Tale written by a woman. That's why. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it just shows that like the time that this book was written, like women were seen as less than human, and so was anyone who wasn't white and anyone who wasn't born neurotypically. And that's literally what this book is about how we're purposely making disabled people because they're less than human, and then they can do all the shit jobs, and then the better people can enjoy their lives.
Yeah.
And it just I don't know. It just doesn't hit the same. It's the same thing with Dorian Gray. Like it's like the antithesis of Dorian Gray. Time passing makes Dorian Gray more sympathetic, but time passing makes this book like loses its point a bit. And I think the same thing with 1984. I also really hate that both these books feel the need to be like, this is my crazy dystopian world, but then here's people who live normally. You don't need to do that. We're not stupid. Like, could you imagine if in the Hunger Games they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the district where people don't have to go to the Hunger Games? Like, what? Why is that a part of your dystopian world? Either you live in a totalitarian nightmare of a life or you don't. Pick one.
Holy shit. That's a really good point, though. I think that's another product of its time where these authors expected that their audiences were stupid, or rather, what kind of books were popular at the time was basically Shortland Street in a book format. So that'd be why they felt the need to do that, because they have people reading pulp fiction. Well, we had fucking heaps to say about that. Jesus. There's one more really important thing about Brave New World that I want to say. Jamie, what did you rate this classic?
I gave it what it deserved. A 1.
Take that, Aldous Huxley.
And that star is reserved for a book that, because I DNF lots. So if it gets a 1, it means I somehow finished it, but still fucking hated it.
You fucking beauty. Right, so what are we picking for next month, Jamie? You go first.
I had chosen The Raven Scholar.
Beauty.
By Antonia? I'm dyslexic. Antonia Hodgkinson. It is
Nice.
a high fantasy, I believe. It sounds very entertaining.
Well, the way he's really not selling it. The way he sold it to me was Hunger Games fantasy, and I was like, okay, yes. that's it.
Basically set in a world where the king steps down and 8 people fight to take his place. So
beauty.
It's been going viral on TikTok. I've only heard good things. And
yeah, I've only heard good things as well. Which I always get a bit worried with popular book talk books, because often they're not for me. They're for the book girlies.
Speaking of book girlies, my pick this month is, I don't know how to say this, Inamorata by Ava Reid. I've read Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid and it was fantastic, so I have high hopes for this. It's a necromancer romantasy. We've been doing pretty well with not just overloading on the fantasy, so I think we're allowed to do this month.
Yeah, I'll allow it. You picked Alchemize, so that's why I was okay with this one. Yeah, so here's hoping that it's just necromancers and not necrophiles.
Please God, not more necrophiles. And then just flash the exquisite course.
Yeah, I don't think we can fucking handle that one. That'll open some old wounds. I chose Smaller and Smaller Circles by F.H. Batacan, something Filipino. So I picked this one because it's a balked book from the Philippines, specifically Manila, which I'm going to next month. Hell yeah. I don't actually know what this is about. I only know that it's quite highly rated, so let's go.
Let's do it.
And I think I sold these guys on this one because the other books that I presented to them were just not good enough.
We're easy to please.
I don't know if we've actually mentioned, but the process we do is off camera. We each have like 3 or 4 books, and then we decide which of those ones that we want to read. So just for brevity's sake, we cut you guys out of this.
Yeah, we squabble quite a bit. We don't need you watching us
Yeah.
squabble.
Exactly.
You don't want to know how we talk to each other.
Yeah, so that was Brave New World, When the Coffee Gets Cold, and Vigil. Let us know if you read those or what your thoughts are. I will accept any hate comments for how I talked about Vigil. Yeah, guys, I think I deserve it. That was a good book that I hated. And definitely let Jamie know about Brave New World.
Yeah, let me know. I won't read it.
If people actually start
Let
watching
them
the
know.
show, it'll be so good to read those comments.
I look at the comments sometimes. Cut that out.
We've had like one comment. Yeah, so if you wanna join us on reading Smaller and Smaller Circles, the Raven one, and in a necrophile, we will be reading it for the month of. Why do I always do this part? I don't know what fucking month it is. May.
May.
In the month of May. Yippee!
Flynn doesn't know months.
All right, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my short form shit.
See ya.
Bye bye.